Today I'm going to tell you why I believe millions of people still continue to buy Harley Davidsons. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you have seen me over the past few years not really rail on Harley so much, but just be very honest on what I like and what I don't like about the motor company. There is a bike in Harley Davidson's lineup that really baffles me. Let me introduce to you the most uncomfortable Harley that they've ever produced. Just because you give them the 114 and the stretch bags and all of that doesn't mean you leave one of the most vital components to touring off of the bike. You let them choose when they buy it to either leave it on or take it off. But there are things about these bikes that continue to keep me going back to them. And over the past 4 years, Iron 883, Street Glide Special, Lowrider S, and a Road Glide Special now. And these things just, they really just mean a lot to me personally. If you're an American, you could probably relate with some of these things depending on where you are in the world. Maybe you relate with it and you live in another country, who knows? But these are just the things that are really important to me and the reason I go back to them. Now, would I ever trade my bike in for an Indian? Because those are the biggest competitors, at least in the big touring cruiser type of market. I've talked about this before. I'm not opposed to it, but there's just a few things about Harley I just absolutely love, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first thing, just undeniable in my eyes, aesthetics. These bikes, from every bolt, every fender, every headlight, every gas tank, the way the motors sit, the way the tank sits above the motor, the fenders, the bags, everything looks incredible. These engineers and designers have a lot of experience. They've been doing it for a long time, and these bikes look absolutely stunning. If you take a Street Glide or a Road Glide and you compare that even to an Indian, Chieftain, or a Challenger, in my opinion, the Chieftain and Challenger look awesome. The Road Glide and Street Glide look that much better. They're just, everything about them is perfect. Where I don't really like the way the motor is designed on the Indians, the fairing is way better than it used to be. I still prefer the one on the Street Glide. I prefer the way the motor sits in there and the way it looks, more of that squared off kind of look as opposed to the rounded jugs. The bags, everything looks better. If you take, and that's the closest competitor, if you take a Harley versus, I'm not here to pick on any specific bike, but if you take a Harley and have a Honda or like a Goldwing or a Yamaha or any other kind of cruiser out there and you put it next to a Harley, Goldwings actually look pretty good, the new ones do. That Harley looks way better though. Hands down, way better. So, but the aesthetics and the styling just keep me coming back. And I would imagine that's a big driver for a lot of people that go back to Harley Davidson over and over and over again. Now that leads me into my second point, which is tradition. When you think about baseball, hot dogs, Smith & Wesson, Harley Davidson is right there. And I am a proud American, and you can say I have some blind patriotism towards the company. I'm fine with that. I can live with that. I'll go to sleep tonight knowing that you think I have blind patriotism because, to be honest with you, a lot of times I do. I love the fact that they're an American company with a truly American story. I mean, you got to think, started in the early 1900s. They served and helped Americans serve through both world wars.
Training motorcycle dispatch riders for the U.S. Army.
And then in the 50s, and then really 60s, 70s, when you have this whole counterculture thing happening, Harley Davidson is right there in the middle to pave the way. You have, movies like Easy Rider and, Terminator in the 90s and or late 80s, whatever. And then, it's just an iconic brand, man. And, when I am proud to say that they are truly an American company. And there's something really I want to add on to this in my next point here, but I just love how you have these companies, and even Indian, which is, they're owned by Polaris. Polaris is an American company. I just love the fact that you have all of this heritage attached to the company, kind of like Smith & Wesson. You almost are attached to the people before you, even on a brand new motorcycle. That to me is just really cool. I love the American heritage. I love that they're built by Americans. Call it whatever you want. That is a big point for me. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, consider subscribing to the channel and hit your notifications so you never miss a video from me. I'll also leave a link down to my other channels if you want to join those communities as well. Big thanks to you guys. Let's get right back into the rest of the video. And I kind of touched on something there. It's like, you know, you have people that came out of World War II in the 50s and 60s, and these motorcycle clubs started coming up, but you had people that were riding their Harleys then. And we have a connection to them now through the same passion for just being in the wind. And that's a big thing with Harley Davidson too, for me, is the way they feel, the way they make you feel when you're on them. Sometimes you get the sense that you're the only motorcyclist on the road. Other times you see groups of people, you know, riding their bikes, depending on the day and all that kind of stuff. And it makes you feel connected to those people from another time period, you know, especially with the Harley heritage and tradition. It just makes you feel, I don't know, it makes me feel really cool sometimes when I think about it. I don't think about it all the time. I don't sit there and be like, man, this is really cool. I'm just like the guys from the 50s and 60s. But when I do think about it, it is cool. You know, you share a passion with somebody from a long time ago. They don't know about you, you don't know about them, but you know, and you both know at one point you enjoyed this thing so much. This Harley Davidson doesn't give you any kind of protection, but you enjoy it so much, you're willing to take a little bit extra risk just to enjoy the road. That's a cool feeling. And that feeling is like that on pretty much any motorcycle, but I really feel that connection with Harley Davidson. Now I'll talk about some of the other stuff here. Of course, you have the dealer support, you have the aftermarket support. You can really make Harleys into anything you want. If you want to me, I really keep them stock. I add a few things that I really want, that I consider, you know, every motorcycle should really have, and I kind of leave it at that. But if you want to customize to your heart's desire, if you want to tear them down and buy an Iron 883 and turn it into the fastest freaking bike on the road almost, you can do that. Or you can just cruise around in style. But either way, you have the option from a bare bones platform to build whatever you want, or to have a stock and really beautiful machine. You know, you really can't say that about some of the other companies out there. There is a part and a way to change pretty much anything on a Harley Davidson. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the community, because it is strong, man. It is a strong, vibrant, passionate group of people. And some of y'all, when you've heard me say positive things about other motorcycles, some of y'all have voiced like, man, how does he say something positive about this bike but ride this bike? It happens to me on the gun channel too. So it is what it is. But I get that. I try to keep an open mind because motorcycles are just cool. They're a lot of them are really cool, and I like to ride a bunch of different bikes. But the community of Harley Davidson, if you need a friend, if you don't know anybody, and you want to get in with other motorcycle riders in your area, there's no better community to join than the Hog, Harley owner groups. I mean, you will have friends for days, and you'll have rides and different events that you can do. There is no shortage of Harley Davidsons and Harley Davidson meetups and all kinds of stuff that they do, community events and all that. So the community is fantastic, dude. And you may see us as a bunch of rugged, bearded, gun-toting, whatever. A lot of us are, but one thing about it, we have a passion for what we do, and there's no replacement for that, man. The community is strong. And one thing about it is, if you see a motorcycle rider that's broke down or in trouble, chances are if another biker passes you, you won't be sitting there for long. You're going to be able to get some help. And that community is real, and it is a really cool thing, man. Even from the biker wave, I love doing that. I love it because it's like you don't know that person from Adam or Steve or whatever, but you know that y'all share this common bond. And with Harley, there is no stronger bond than through the connection with your motorcycle. Now, I have some issues with them, but that's mainly dealership experiences that I've actually had and finance experiences that I've had with Harley Davidson. Completely different video, but all in all, the bikes themselves, I think that's why millions of people still continue to buy and love Harley Davidson. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Why do you continue to buy Harley Davidsons? Or maybe you went a different route. Let us know as well. We're all one big community here. If you want to see any other videos or you have any other ideas, leave those down in the comments below. If you like what I do and you want to support what I do, you can do that for $1 on Patreon. Link down below along to my other channels. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold the rubber side down.